I got a hiccup happening in my opening. I don't know if everybody saw that, but it just wouldn't stop. I don't know. I maybe got something wrong today. Boy. So welcome to Investigator News. I'm your host, Ellie, and we welcome you, and we're thankful for our viewers. Close to Thanksgiving, and what am I thankful for? All of you. Um, you guys make me happy every day. I can't wait to get in here, sit in this chair, and uh, sit next to the big American eagle with the flag, and tell you guys the news, tell you the truth and news. Subscribe and share with your friends. We got a few new viewers this week, and need more. We need thousands of them to hit it. I don't know what the YouTube is doing or Facebook. They're just not letting me get out. Uh, Maybe because I make them angry by telling the truth. Uh, so Susan says hello again. She was in the last show, and Karen, of course, is our moderator. And you could see Susan. Uh, so um, Susan says she's thankful for me. Uh, well, once you have been on my show, you could see, hearing what I go through to get the show going. My hands are every which way to get everything running. I don't have a edit man or a someone that does all my electronics. I do this all on my own. So I'm ready to go, though. All right. Uh, I told everybody on the first show, and the new show is a little bit different. Um, my bird, it's laying in the bird dish now, the food dish. It's up on the top of the cage. It's sitting in the bird dish with its sleeping. I don't know. The bird's acting weird. It was at the bottom of the cage earlier. So I don't know. I might not have a bird tomorrow. Uh, but the other sad news is 1 in 3 families are going without Thanksgiving this year. Uh, how sad! How sad is that? Um, you know, uh, I think it's the illegals are a lot of it. I think the migrants from previous years, the amount of poor on our streets and homeless. I also think it's the amount of those using drugs on our streets. I mean, um, I know Karen and Susan are close to Philadelphia, and there's zombies there. Every time I get news clips sent to me by the one of the gentlemen that drive through there a lot, uh, I just they're like bent over looking at their toes for like 30 minutes. I don't know what it is, and there's a lot of them that do that, and they just it's so sad, very sad. And do they even know it's Thanksgiving? It's just sad, very sad. All right, so the top stories today. Oh boy, I keep getting putting the wrong one up there. I'll get used to this. This is a new thing. So our top stories: National Guard to the border. Finally, uh, it's went through the courts. It's went through the Supreme Courts, and the Democrats been fighting this with Governor Abbott for a very long time, and it's looks like it could happen. The rail strike, next cut by the Democrats. Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is the name of the company. In Massachusetts, I feel sorry for you guys. You guys are going to be taxed 139 million for the support of illegals for your state. It does not include homeless. It does not include those low income or on welfare for the state. Just the illegals. I don't know. I'm starting to get upset at this administration because I worry about the kids, the homeless kids. A lot of this is working class families that just can't afford rent anymore. All right, so on with the news. Um, so Texas, this is Texas National Guard takes unprecedented steps to protect our border. Days after Abbott declared an invasion over surging illegal numbers, Texas National Guard is now being deployed, uh, tanks and armored vehicles along the Mexican U.S. border, especially since they don't want the containers there. The Democrats fought them tooth and nail all the way to the border, and now they're able to send the tanks and start blocking off. The worry, I think, is right around El Paso, uh, and El Paso says, "Oh, it's not bad here." No, it is. It's really bad when you've got fentanyl killing a lot of high school kids in El Paso. Um, good on Texas. Thank you, William. Boy, William, uh, uh, we got some good stuff for tomorrow. Looks like, is it going to toss up between, is Ukraine actually going to go for these negotiations that everybody wants, or are they not even going to consider it anymore? And it seems like they start talking about it, and then they talk to NATO and the United States, and all of a sudden they're backing off again. All right. Uh, Boy, it's dim in here, almost like my light's going out. I'm gonna have to get me a new light. This one in the front does light up. It just, well, no, it don't. The dog was in here and unplugged it. Yeah, the dog came in, did a turnaround, and I seen my lamp started to move. I had to pull it back. I don't know what it is about these wires. Uh, and it was the only wire loose, and she got into it last show. So the National Guard, they're to deploy. This is what Abbott said. He is basically invoked on the invasion clauses of the U.S. Texas Constitution, and it fully authorizes Texas to take measures to defend our state against an invasion. He's using that consecutive order and authority to deploy National Guard and safeguard our border, to repel, turn back immigrants trying to cross the border illegally, to deploy the Texas Department of Public Safety to arrest and return border immigrants who crossed illegally, and also to arrest illegal immigrants for criminal activity at this point, to build a border wall in multiple counties on the border, to deploy gun boots to secure the border, designate Mexican cartels as foreign terrorists and organizations, to enter into a compact with the other side to secure the border, not just on the United States side, but on the Mexican side. Enter in agreements with foreign powers to enhance border security and provide resources for the border counties to increase their efforts to respond to the border invasion. Now, we were looking at Arizona doing this until we now have got this rift in who's governor. Lake is going to follow suit. The Democrat hopeful, they say, that is governor isn't all for this. New Mexico's blue, folks. It's not going to help. So, what Abbott is saying is he has no choice now. He has no choice but to do this, and it's good. And he has the support of the GOP being in Congress, that he's able to go ahead and move this forward. All right, so this railroad strike, boy, it's looming again. And now this happened last year, folks. I just want to remind you, it got bad. They were going to strike, and then Biden jumped in, saved the day, and everybody gets Christmas. And here we go again. Same scenario, same thing. And it's very disheartening because the rail strike yesterday is basically affecting, they say, 28,000 train conductors, and also transport workers. If this happens, folks, and the White House knows this, the Biden knows this, that is going to hurt our transportation for this country. Now, you've seen what they did to the truck drivers and the diesel, and I think I got a diesel article coming up. But they went after the truckers. They went after the container ships and blocked them from getting in the ports. They any type of transportation that could possibly help move uh, goods across our country, they have stunted. Um, what about air travel? They did the same thing. Many of the airlines were shut down due to the pandemic and just not coming back. Ships, the same thing. They're now starting to go after ships because of the pollutants, fossil fuels. Now what's left? Trains, of course. Now they're going after the trains. Uh, why does Democrats, and why would a Democrat vote for this? To totally stop transportation in this country. It's almost to where the individual states are going to have to depend on each one of its states to be able to get goods. Is this forcing us to become our own manufacturers of what we our needs for the people in our own individual states? Because there's laws, you can't just take things over the border. You got no. It's a big no-no, especially on a trade, like a free trade agreement or moving anything from one state to another. It usually ends up in legal matters. So what are they doing? You know, and they're going to be sitting there with a big table full tomorrow, and they're going to be stuffing themselves full of turkey and dressing and pie uh, and here we have a transportation failure happening, not only with the diesel, but with what's going on with now the trains. If these trains derail, um, that's it, folks. Christmas might be put on hold as far as transportation. Amazon, they're already. I got an email today saying Amazon is now worried because a lot of their goods that they send to you come from overseas. And not only are the ships being stunted, the ports are being stunted, then the truckers are stunted, and they were really depending on railway, and they were starting to make a lot of money. But now the railway could even be stunted. And the thing is um, the railroad workers. It's not the fact that they're just being mean. Um, 12 unions so far has said no, they're not interested in what the Biden uh, has to offer. And this was before midterm. And they were privately asked not to say anything till after the elections. Oh, how convenient. And they did it. They did it. Um, and not only that, but everything that he said he was going to do, he's doing. Um, he said, we're going to lose everything and we're going to like it. Well, I don't like it. So, oh boy. So let's pray that they don't go on strike. Now, they're not quitting, they're just going on strike, folks. Give them what they want. It's better pay, it's better benefits. The railroad has been around for a very long time, and they are almost the last to get anything, and that they are needing the money for their families to be able to make it. Most um, Now this is something I have found out since oh boy, the 90s, that the railroad workers are probably on the verge of poverty all the time, and it shouldn't be that way if they're our main source of transportation. I think it was the 80s because I was looking into it with the boys on the track. And not only that, but my family, big railroad. My uncle worked for the railroad. My grandpa also in Ketty, California, was a lone, little tiny train station that he would take care of. Um, and he was very popular, known for being the guy in charge of the railroad for the town of Ketty. It's a little itty bitty hole on the wall, folks. Um, I think they got Ketty housing that was all for the railroad. There's no regular housing, so when people move up there now, they're actually living in railroad housing. Now, another one of my uncles, he worked um, for the railroad for a little bit, and then he started working for the lumber mill. that was for basically the whole valley. He ended up getting flooded out uh, with the huge floods. And there's a good reason for the story. Um, he got flooded out, 7 foot of water. And lo and behold, after the water receded and went away, a few of my cousins went looking. And after the water went away, and they started panning, and they were pulling the gold nuggets out of um, the Feather River. Feather River and all around up there, that's gold country. And so they got, some of them made a good name for themselves. Some of them chased gold and gold fever, and they ended up back where they were. All right. So we're going to move on. So Pelosi, she's getting worse. She is starting to lose it. Has she moved her stuff yet? A little bit. She's spending more time complaining about the GOP and McCarthy and what he plans to do. But lo and behold, I'm finding out she did slip a few names that are too radical for the Democrats, and some of them are even Mitch McConnell, and all of them are ones that have dealings in China or work foreign affairs um, on the hearings, on the board of foreign affairs. And they have been known to be dealing with other countries and making a lot of money. Now, why would Nancy Pelosi care? She did it. I mean, she went from, get this, she has spent what, close to 30 years in politics, and her net growth is $400 million on a measly, I think, 30,000, 40,000 salary, and owns quite a few homes and uh, vacation homes. Her family said her kids and her grandkids will never have to work. Think about that. We got her 400 million that she's sitting on, eating ice cream. Yeah. All right. But supposedly she's getting worse as the closer to the day where she needs to just go. Um, uh, Not only that, but now what she wants to do is she has a legacy fund. And since she's in need of help, because she's leaving that big, beautiful job, and she's not going to get the money she had. Well, now she's got to create a foundation, and she's asking people to help her out because she's really in need. And it's a legacy. I just said it. Legacy fund. And it's for her to continue to milk her fundraising list of money people. Or she'll be able to use the Play a Kingmaker and pay her travel expenses, they said, for the rest of her life. Um, and she says she's passing the torch to a new generation of leaders, and then hits up her supporters by announcing her plans for this legacy, but not to give to anybody that ends up on the seat of the House. Uh, yeah. Oh boy, aren't we glad that we bought her ice cream? I just keep going back to the 1 in 3 our families aren't getting Thanksgiving. What's it going to be next year? GOP, step in and do something. Turkey dinners, they say 20%. I called the Walmart down in Little Rock today, and I said, "What?" Oh, I talked to one of their managers, and she happily helped me. It was a merchandise manager, and I said, "How much?" Actually, don't lie. The press and media twist everything. How much is turkey dinner items up this year? Sit down, folks. They're saying 20% on the news. The merchandise manager for the state here said it's almost 40% and going up. And Christmas will be even worse. Um, what do you do? What do you do? And I say, go give some turkey items to the food bank, folks. Load up the food bank. Get rice. Rice is really good. And if you get a big enough bag, it's cheap. And people can cook that. It'll make quite a few meals. Oatmeal. Buy oatmeal. And get them something cheap, something that's good, something sustainable. And after yesterday, sustainable. Um, I don't know. But these families are now needing our help. And I feel bad. Every bite of donut I take, I'm like, man, I think of the kids. I'm sorry. I think of the kids. All right. Um, so we are looking worse as far as the cost. And they're saying, guess what? A can of a pumpkin to make your pumpkin pies with, the mix, they said that's $4 or more a can. A year ago, it was right about $3, they said. During the Trump administration, it was $1.79 a can. That's how high it's went. Turkeys. Uh, they were saying a good 15-pound turkey is going to run you $30, $40. It was. I used to get my butter balls for what was it, $1.25 a pound? I don't think it's that. I think it's more like $3 a pound now. I love butter balls. I'm sorry. They're just the best to me. So and my family is one. We're so sick. Um, I don't know if my family's going to be able to have Thanksgiving this year, just over sickness. All of us are sick, um, and I'm getting over it. And um, but the rest of it, my daughter, all of her family, friends of hers, a friend of mine, everybody that's been around us. And I want to say, folks, this started with the flu shot. My daughter got one. Her boyfriend got one, I believe, and a friend of mine got one. And lo and behold, now we're all sick. And it's not fun. It's not a fun flu. And now get this, when we've been going to the doctor has basically said they might be shutting schools down here next week because so many kids are sick with the same thing, some viral virus. All right. So, uh, um, Pasaki, yeah, Pasaki is in trouble. Um, uh, she, a few days off from her MSNBC gig is due to she is disposed in a lawsuit alleged she and others coordinated social media companies to suppress free speech. Psaki had previously sought to back the subpoena, claiming that her job and children meant the request of an undue burden. Um, the federal judge denied Psaki's motion to squash a subpoena for her deposition in Missouri versus Biden lawsuit aimed at revealing government collusion with big tech and the violation of the First Amendment. And she has been her and some of her dealings with the people that she has around her. And I'm thinking it's Soros's foundation, the one I've been telling you about. It won't tell me the foundation. I looked it up, and I was hoping it would, because not only her, but the new Supreme Court Justice, the African American lady. It was her and Psaki and a few other aides that work for the Biden administration belong to this foundation. And what they're saying is she had directed some people to try to squash the First Amendment. Not only that, but on social media. And so now she's in trouble. Yay, yay. How many times did she lie? Maybe this new lady that's the press secretary, maybe they'll go after her next. But Psaki deserves it. Beyond Meats. Um, um, they, of course, things don't come out. I told you yesterday about these meat processing plants, and a lot of them have not. They get to investigate themselves, Now, somebody that worked there leaked some internal documents and photos. Uh, this is a Philadelphia plant. Um, Now, this time I was like, what was it? New York Times got it? No, Bloomberg got it this time. They obtained the evidence that from the plant that whistleblowers pushing the findings in a Monday report. That food and safety attorney intervened, indicated that the conditions at the plant were seriously unhygienic and has been for quite a few years. And mold and growth takes a while. They said mold, black mold and white mold take a very long time to be able to cover some walls. And um, so it showed mold on the walls as well as soiled containers used in food preparations. Oh boy, oh folks, I gotta show you this. Uh, I didn't see this earlier. Otherwise, I would have done it. All right, let's get this up here for you guys. I'm trying quick. I'm getting better and quicker at this. Okay, let me get over here. I'm going to go. You see the mold on there, folks? That's that black. That is black mold, folks. The containers, you can't see a good close-up shot, but they're pretty dirty. I'm gonna continue to scroll, see if we got anything else. Um, I don't see anything. So Beyond Meats, and they're the ones that are doing a lot of the processed foods, like we were talking about yesterday with processed meats. So keep an eye on your labels. We're going to have to start reading labels again, folks. Start reading your labels. Did anybody, by chance, check their water bottles? And did anybody find PET at the bottom of their bottles? Let me know. I would really like to know. Don't be afraid. There's nothing wrong with it. Nobody knew. I didn't know. Um, I started looking at the bottom of my kids' water bottles. Beyond Meats is the brand. It's the name of the company. Let me finish this up. Um, it is the Fox Meat Plant. It's a 45-minute drive on the Pennsylvania Turnpike from Philadelphia. Um, the plant-based meats manufactured at the facility were found infected with bacteria, listeria, and at least 11 times since 2021. Look how many times they've been found to have mold, and they didn't clean it up. It's been a year, and and they haven't cleaned it up. The foodborne infection bacteria can cause illness for those who consume it. Um, the food and if FDA is the one that went there and checked them. So shame on FDA. Yeah, they're going to go bust down a farm and use $1 million to go after small little farmer, uh, but they're going to let this plant go on for a year, knowing it's making people sick. Um, Karen, I believe it's just called Beyond Meats. Um, all right, so I'm sending the link through to the chat room. For those that would like to read it. It's with Western Journal. And I thank them for doing this because it's something, I did yesterday and I didn't think people care, but I think we're finally getting out there that we need our local dairies. We need our local farmers. We need our local farmers market to be able to get good quality food because they're closing everything. They're closing everything. They're ruining our transportation and shipping. They have closed down a lot of big stores. They're closing banks down. They tried to get the Christians. They tried to get the guns. They're not stopping. Uh, I bet Pelosi has at least a half a dozen bills up her sleeve for Democrats to push through as quick as they can. So yeah, that is it. Um, wow. Mold, folks. Um, the other thing that kind of got me was Massachusetts taxpayers asked to pay 135 million to house more illegal aliens. They said it would be an emergency shelter for border crossers. And Massachusetts residents are starting to see housing prices cool off as Charlie Baker um, is asking, and he's a Republican, for 135 million to hugely increase shelter space for border crossers and illegal aliens increasing arriving in the state with little to no means. Um, and they're get this, they're now starting to hand out brand new coats, shoes, socks, and blankets at the border. Why can't they go give it to the homeless? Uh, and the Democrats voted for that, though. The Democrat voter likes that. Uh, what's wrong with these people? Was it CERN? Did they turn that way with CERN or what? I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist for a second. Did CERN cause this? You remember they did CERN and then it's something what, or did the pandemic do it? I think they were really, during Trump, they started acting up. The riots started happening. So it had to have been something with Obama. Was it chemtrails? I mean, I've seen people that I've known for decades just bleep, and they hate all Republicans. They just hate them and they don't want nothing to do with them. And they dropped all their friends and family because of it. Something ain't right with these people. So, um, okay. Um, okay, here we go. It's my computer's just being slow today. Um, the diesel fuel shortage isn't a secret anymore. We know about that. And they're talking um, last month, the U.S. Energy Information Administration revealed a shocking discovery that America's stockpile of diesel fuel had less than 25 days worth. Well, everyone's been on pins and needles waiting. It's the lowest it's been in decades. This is especially troubling considering all the current global conflicts and supply chain breakdowns. And things aren't what they used to be. Things are bad and getting worse every day. The food is especially basically having issues of staying fresh, waiting for the next truck to be able to transport it. Um, Now, I really appreciated everything they had wrote in this article, and this was Zero Hedge. But even their mum's the word. They say we're on the last days of diesel before it goes up. I did, and get this, prices went down though, folks. Like gas, did you guys notice at the pumps? Um, they put it down a bit, but after the holidays, it's supposed to go back up real bad. They're just waiting, but they did it for the election. They brought it down. Everything that they do that's for the good is usually to get someone elected that they want in power. Uh, so nothing's said. See that? I was hoping for that. And I search every day for stuff on diesel. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And they say, it's been cut. They know it's been cut. They know we're losing diesel fuel, and it's any day, any day. But no one is saying what happens. I think they're afraid of this. I don't think this is something they want to really talk about. ICE agents, oh my goodness, 130, 130 illegal migrant sex offenders they caught. Quite a few sex traffickers. And they said they even um, have enough information that they went and busted out quite a few with children in these in houses, like a 3-bedroom home in the middle of a like where we live, the suburbs, and it is just full of kids or sex slaves or human trafficking or human slavery. And so a lot of these guys, they have 130 of them they caught, and now they are sending them back to their countries. Uh, they said they won't charge them here because then they'd be stuck here, and a good possibility of being released. So they're going to go ahead and send them back to the country where they committed the crimes. Oh boy, I'm glad that there's stuff changing now. We don't hear much about Ron Paul and Washington's, he said, is dangerous with Ukraine. And the Biden administration has been boondoggled, and it's starting to unravel. Why? Because I believe I said it yesterday. They keep putting their hands out. We need more. We blew up we lost all of our toys and ammunition. Now we need more. And it's starting to become very stale and old, is what this article says, for all of the global leaders. And they said they're tired of giving them money, giving them aid, giving them, and they're complaining the same thing. They want to see what it's spent on, of course, what they're being told is Joe Biden has that list. If I don't drink a whole bunch, I'll be coughing on you guys. I'm trying to keep drinking. So, um, um, now, according to the press reports, Zelensky calls for Biden and senior Biden staff um, to basically work with the UN security advisors, Jake Sullivan, and he's reported to have said um, eh, that Russia needs to tread carefully, and they're agreeing with this. So you could see when I read stuff like this, I'm like, Sullivan and those generals, um, and the UN and NATO, I think they're the ones that keep feeding him the fuel and saying, "Yeah, you could do it. Go get him, buddy. Go get Putin." Make them weaker. But it's not. It's making them stronger. Uh, how do I mean that? We put sanctions on them, folks. And get this, we put sanctions on them, and they're getting rich off their gas. They've got gas. They're selling it to anybody that wants it. And here, what we're getting drips, um, and even OPEC. OPEC's happy, and I believe OPEC is now shifting over to with Russia on a lot of this stuff. So, um, boy, so we got Ron Paul. He's heard rumors that the frustration over Zelensky's endless begging and ingratitude uh, for the 60 billion that we have given him, and then another 89, and then now they want another 37, and it's not to where, please, please, it's give it to me. I mean, they say it's very direct, very like he's better than all of us. Give me the money. Now Ron Paul has said, no, he's not going to start falling for this. He thinks this could be another oligarch that is socking away as much money as they can. So when the Ukraine war ends, say, well, we lost Ukraine, and they're going to walk away with all the money. That's what Ron Paul is saying could happen. It has happened with the last 3 presidents of Ukraine. That's why it's so corrupt. Don't believe that stuff. That it's Ukraine is winning and Ukraine is the good guy. Um, Eva this morning put out a thing on houses that are just blown to smithereens and saying that it was Ukraine that did it. And Ukraine's coming around, putting microphones in their face saying, you got blown up, right? Yeah. Well, it was a war, right? Yeah. And then they walk away and they're saying that it was Russia that just did it. And they're like not understanding. They don't speak Japanese or they don't speak European. And well, they do speak European, but other countries that are reporting on this that they don't quite understand, um, they're getting away with it. They're getting away with lying, folks. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm trying to get through this a little bit quicker today since I don't feel all that well. Um, we have, and this is something I might even send William. Iran enriching uranium to 60% purity at an underground Fordo nuclear site. Now, we know they have been playing with it for a while and they've got it pretty much, but now they've started a new underground facility that started enriching uranium and at its underground they say, Fordo nuclear facility. To a purity of 60%, they say. And Iran has already enriched uranium elsewhere, way over 60%, which is the higher than 20% that they're only allowed to have. And this was signed into an agreement in 2015. Now, the agency reported in a letter to the International Atomic Energy Agency that Iran has informed the agency that it has started enriching uranium at 60% at this facility using IR6 advanced centrifuges. And the Board of Governors on Thursday adopted a resolution directing Iran to be expedient on this. And the organization's inquiry into uranium traces that have been discovered at 3 undeclared locations. And they want to see if it's from this facility, if they've been testing or are they getting ready to test. So now we're seeing another one. I know they have quite a few plants. And I am hoping Netanyahu, and also the death threats going at Netanyahu, that now that he's back in power, he's basically a dead man, and so is in hatred to the United States. And so here we go. Here comes the threats. Now there has been it's down in the South, and I keep an eye on this because we have a lot of black farmers here in the South, and they have been waiting for their fair share. There was a farmers bill. I don't know. It was one of the first few we put through that was supposed to help the farmers, the PPP, I believe, that system there, and it was supposed to help the farmers to be able to sustain themselves through the pandemic. Well, they haven't got no money. All the farms around them have gotten it. And then he went around, a few went around to talk to their neighbors. And this guy don't want me to use his name. And he said they were proposing a 37 billion to the farmers, but they were excluded. And when he found out, was it just black farmers excluded? Because that's racism. No, it was both black and white farmers were being not able to get the money. But guess what? The farms that are now run by the Chinese, they got all the money. And they're just now starting and they're building up their farms. So they got all the money, folks. And they're building their farms right next to or buying up these acreages right next to other farmers. And then they turned the other farmers in for unsanitary conditions. And that's what's starting to come through. So these national black farmers now going after the Biden administration, and they say they haven't done anything. And China is buying up all the farms. They basically go down in policies and restrictions and fines and citations that they're having to walk away from their farms. And lo and behold, it ends up in the hands of the Chinese. So that's what they're doing. That's part of that infrastructure bill. Ah, well, I was fed up with him about 6 months ago. So uh, now they had a accident with LA sheriff recruits, and it's almost like the parade crash. This driver crashed in to a fleet, and not fleet of them, but a whole group of them, and hurt a lot of them. And so he's been going through the courts, and he's finally admitted um, that uh, basically he fell asleep at the wheel. And he says he didn't realize it. He said it was about 6:30 a.m. and it was during a training exercise, and he just didn't see him. He fell asleep, and when he came to, he was already crashed, and people were run over. I don't know if I believe him or not. I don't know. And I don't know if there's a test that says it's provable that he fell asleep. Very sad because a lot of police officers got hurt. Uh, uh, oh boy. Just in time for Turkey Day. Let's see. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Um, um, Iran, the Ayatollah, the guy in charge, has now put a warning out for Netanyahu. And I told you he was, death to Israel and whoever leads it. The thing about it is now he is sending clear messages via even documents and through the mail, not email, that they are going to kidnap Benjamin Netanyahu in the next few months. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. Um, and then, boy, maybe I might get done early today, folks. But frozen turkeys. People get turkeys, and what do they want? They get the frozen ones, which is understandable. The problem is they're not really thawing them out as good as they should. Well, some people lay them in their sink for a couple hours on Turkey Day, or some of them just kind of wait a little bit, and once it's uh, good enough to pull everything out, then they start stuffing, and it's a frozen turkey. The problem with this is the big fad of frying your turkeys, in the big vat, and it's full of grease, and they drop the turkeys in there and they deep fry them. Well, there have been dozens to the point where they can't even recall a certain kind, but and they found out the cause of it was frozen turkeys. If the turkey is frozen and you drop it in that hot oil, it will explode, and it's caught many people on fire. So think on it. And they said people aren't getting away as quick as they thought. It may not do it with the first batch or the first turkey. And then the next year you think, okay, it's all right. It's frozen. I'll just throw it in. And it is blowing up. It's even harmed and burnt little kids. Uh, they say this is all over the country. Even over in India, it's becoming a big fad. Um, I know some of them don't eat pork. I'm pretty sure. But over there in India, they're finding the same thing, that these turkeys are exploding, and they're blaming the turkey manufacturer for pumping something in them to make them blow up. So, so far, so good. They're doing an investigation, and they said it could take a month before we find out what's going on. But this shows you on these recalls. These turkeys have been exploding since they came out. Now, how long ago was that? Yeah, too long ago. So, um, try to refrain. If you get one and you're going to deep fry it, just thaw it out all the way. Rub it down good. No water on it. No frozen. No little pieces of ice. They say the pieces of ice do it too. Will spark it quick. Um, so, be careful. Just make sure it's dry. They said not all of it. Some people thaw it out all the way and stick it in there. It's just fine. So, turkey. We're talking turkey today. So, anyway, um, uh, and of course, Karen is throwing up there the please share and like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Share, share, share. You're going to be going to families' houses for Thanksgiving this year. You tell them about us. Pull up a video. Have them watch one of my, the joke of the post of the week. They're pretty good. They get a lot of views. Then maybe that's a start to warm them up and say, you know what? She'll tell you the truth. But tell a family, your extended family and cousins. One person that leads to another person leads to another person. So I do thank you all very much. You guys are my world, and you guys rock, and you rock my world. Um, I don't even have a song for it. But we have William tomorrow, and William will probably have a real nice song for us all. And I'll think of one. I think there's one it's a Thanksgiving prayer song. I found it a long time ago, and I shared it with the family, and they love it. Um, so we will have military news tomorrow. And then, like I said, Thursday, I will not be here. I'll be with my family for Thanksgiving. Whether we're all sitting on the couch coughing and blowing our nose, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. We might end up with just pie. I said, no, we'll at least stuff a turkey and put it in there, and we can have turkey sandwiches. So, uh, anyway, so you guys have a wonderful evening. Go watch something really nice on TV. I know I am. I think we have uh, uh, the Avenger. I think that's what it is. The first one. We got something all picked out for superheroes or something. Now, also on YouTube, there is a documentary. I believe History Channel makes it. A friend of mine sent it to me, and it tells the really wonderful story of the Pilgrims. So, do I sound horrible, Karen? I mean, I feel like it in my throat. A lot of two of the kids have got strep throat, real bad, with this flu. Some have got the stomach virus. Some sinuses, like mine. Mine's all sinus. It's not my chest. It's all in my sinuses. So, all right, but we're all running high fevers, and so. Uh, you guys take care and share, subscribe and share, and we're getting bigger and we're getting better, and making changes, new looks, and maybe even a new intro coming up with the beginning of the year. So you guys take care, and you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and start making them pies. Get those pumpkin pies done, apple pies. Uh, chocolate cream pie or a banana pie. Uh, get your favorite pies done today or tonight and tomorrow. So you guys take care, and congratulations to our Mary for her house. Uh, we will see you tomorrow. Bye bye, folks, and God bless.